There were two trees in the garden. Remember? There was the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Adam and Eve had not eaten of the first tree. God had said, "In the day that you eat of the second tree, you will certainly die." But did they die? Welcome to Building Mettle, brought to you by Baird & Wilson Sheet Metal. Beginning with the serpent, then the woman, then the man, God issued a series of pronouncements describing the consequences of their actions. The result is that Adam and Eve will indeed return to the dust from which they came. They will die, but before that happens, they will both live a life of toil and sorrow. Toil because the ground is now cursed and will produce both edible plants and thorns and thistles. Sorrow because their relationship with God and with each other is broken. As cursed as the ground itself, they will multiply, and the hearts of their children will produce both good and evil. You wanted the knowledge of good and evil, you got it. God tells Eve that in multiplying you, the result is multiplied sorrow. The intimacy that was once there is gone and back to the dust. All humanity will eventually return alone. Had they eaten of the first tree, the tree of life, they would have lived forever. But to prevent that from happening, God expelled them from the garden. Why? Well, the biblical definition of death is separation from life. The source of life is God. By choosing independence from God, the humans had made themselves allies with the agents of chaos. Though Adam and Eve bear the image of God, they were no longer subjects of his kingdom, but of a kingdom of suffering and death. Thorns and thistles are metaphors for pain, disease, and disaster. For Adam and Eve to eat of the tree of life and live forever would have been the worst outcome that could possibly happen. All of humanity would have existed in a world of continually multiplied suffering, an ever-growing infection of pain, without the possible relief of death. St. Augustine, in his work, The City of God, said that immortality in sin would be a punishment greater than death. Eternal suffering is the definition of hell, not something God had desired for earth. So, in his mercy, God closes Eden. He posts two cherubim at the entrance so that the tree of life can never be accessed. Heaven and earth are now separated and no longer intersect. Death now rules over all creation. But what happened to the serpent? The shining one, the rebel angel of chaos? God curses this creature by first consigning him to the earthly domain, the dust. And he makes a strange pronouncement. God says, "I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." In the middle of this tragedy, when all of creation and humanity seem doomed to hopelessness, God reveals an amazing plan. He essentially says to the serpent, "This isn't over. Someone is coming." The earliest first-century Christians recognized what happened here when they read this. Theologians of the 16th century use a Latin phrase to describe it. They called it the proto-evangelium, which means the first good news or the first gospel. God is saying there will forever be hostility between the offspring of this woman and those agents of chaos who come from you. But a seed of the woman, a child, will one day come. You will strike his heel, which will be deadly, but he will crush your head. Watch out, shining one, someone is coming who will undo everything you have done here. So, there he is, in the very beginning, all the way back in Genesis chapter 3. There he is, Jesus. The Bible is a unified story that leads to Jesus. From here on, an epic journey begins, a war between the serpent and his agents and the descendants of the woman, through whom one day a mystery person will come, who will bring heaven back to earth. He will crush the serpent, restore Eden, heal our brokenness with each other and God, but also give access to the tree of life, an eternal life, without suffering. But we're not there yet, are we? We still suffer. Bad things still happen. We have fights with our spouses, our kids drive us crazy, our health takes a bad turn. It seems like there's more outgo than there is income. Here at work, we know how to fix problems. It's at home where we don't always know what to do. But there is good news. Someone is coming. In the meantime, we are the image of God and enemies of chaos in whom God is building Mettle. We are God's presence in the middle of the suffering, which is why our work matters. This isn't easy. That's why we need the scriptures and each other to encourage us every day and to give us strength and to be what we were created to be and to help us recognize what has value and what doesn't. So, here's some tools to take with you today. Number 1, no matter how bad things get, it isn't over. There is always hope. Number 2, you may feel broken in your relationships with others and with God, but through Jesus, there is healing. Number 3, God has an amazing plan for all of creation, and that includes you. This is Eric Snyder. Watch out for more episodes from Building Mettle. The music of Building Mettle is a production of Jed Brewer and Good Loud Media, Oak Park, Illinois. Also special thanks to Christ Community Church, Oak Ridge, Tennessee.